Welcome. I want to give you a quick demo of NotebookGrader. NotebookGrader is a tool that enables teachers to create notebooks, assign them as homework, and grade the result. So I will be logged into NotebookGrader in two different ways. In this black browser, I will be the teacher, and in the white browser, I will be the student. So I go to the Teacher tab, and the first thing I do is create an assignment. I call it something like Homework 1. I can restrict it only to students from my same institution. I can add the TAs, but the important thing is to choose the 3 dates. The date in which the assignment opens is available to students, the date when the work is due, and the last date in which students can submit late solutions. If they submit late, they receive a grade, but it will be labeled as invalid, and the instructor can label it as valid if they choose. Okay, so I created the assignment, and this does not come yet with a notebook, with a Python notebook. It has to be uploaded. Okay, so there is a sample assignment you can look at. The format is the same as for NBGrader. The only difference is that you need to say in a comment how many points each test cell is. And as you can see, there are solution cells and test cells. The test cells have some visible tests and some tests that are hidden to students and whose purpose is to avoid, students hard coding a solution. So this is fine. This is a good test. You can download it. You download it in the notebook format, okay? And then you need to upload it to the test. Sorry, here. So I choose, these are identical, I choose one of them. And NotebookGrader will be running it for you and create the instructor version and the student version. We can look at the instructor version. It's essentially the result of running your notebook, but it also tells you that it understood what the tests are. There was a test and you got 10 out of 10 points. If you look at the student version, you see that the solution is missing, of course, right? So this is a version that can be given to students, but you don't need to give it to students. What you do is actually you give this URL to the students. This URL enables the students to join the assignment. So you can put it on your classroom management systems. You can email it. You can do what you want with it to share it, and you can change it so to cut off access if you want. So if a student gets the URL, they assume that they click on it from an email or wherever, then they join the assignment. It tells them the due date. They have not yet gotten any grade. They can go to the assignment and they can access it, and they access it in Google Colab, of course. So this is the assignment from their point of view, and they can try to solve the problem. The problem is that they have to write a function that checks whether one word is an anagram of the other. So we can solve it this way: return sorted of word 1 is equals to sorted of word 2. Okay, so the student can write the solution. They can run their code in Colab, of course. So all they need is a browser. They don't need to install anything in Python. These tests pass, so if the student is happy with these, they can ask for the work to be graded. They cannot ask an infinite amount of times. There is a limit. In this case, the limit was set to 3 times in 24 hours. This incentivizes also students to get to work on the assignment early, so they have more attempts. So they can ask for the work to be graded, and this, the request is enqueued, and then after a while, there is a new grade that comes. Okay, the grade is here. And the student can look at the grade, of course, and can also look at the feedback. In this case, the feedback will be a Google Colab that simply says that the tests passed. If the tests failed, it would contain information on the failed tests. It essentially contains the output of, whatever assert there is in the original version of the work. Okay? So that's it. The students can continue doing this until they're happy with their work. And the instructor can see the list of all the grades so far. For each student, they see the highest valid grade, and if they want, they can examine the list of grades in detail. In this case, there is only one, okay, but there could be two. I can ask for the work to be graded one more time, just to show how this would work. Okay, now there are two grades here. And so if I refresh this page, of course, yeah, there are two here. They're the same grade. And I can, check each one of them as valid or invalid. And the student grade is the highest of the valid grades. So I can go back to the homework, and I can also download all the grades, of course. So I can, then input them in whatever learning management system I'm using as a teacher. So that's it. It's pretty simple, but I think it's neat that students get their feedback immediately. There is nothing to be installed, and it works in a fairly well integrated way. Thank you very much.